price, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog.
I'm Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog. You know, when I get the hankering for a hot dog, I go to Cleveland, Texas. Just a couple blocks off the square, they got Loafing Dog. They got the Neely Dog, the Mary Sunshine Dog, the Casey Dog, and the Shirley Dog. Why, they even got the Pacer Dog, the Brooklyn Dog, and the Jim Dog. Can't forget the Shane Dog, or the Joy Dog, and the Monty Dog. I like that fool. The Nakia Dog and the Braxton Dog round things off. Why, they even got a kids menu too.
Loafing Dog, 208 East Chambers Street, Cleveland, Texas. Lunch, catering, or takeout, plus outdoor seating. Phone numbers 817-556-1040.
This is Wilford Brimley. And don't forget, Loafing Dog won't give you diabetes.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Will you get tired of what you got? can't give you any more. Where the chips and distant shores, would you still be my compass? Yeah. You keep loving me the same. I don't know how, but you still stay with me, baby. Stay with me, baby. Another day, another week, we'll slip back in old routines. To nights like these come in between. Simple moments in the dark, ones that life can't tear apart. They come along, or just when we need. I still hear the current of the freeway in the distance, but I stop listening, 'cause I know you stay, even though the waves are always shifting. We're fighting our way through, yes I always do. If I can't give you any more, where the ships and distant shores, would you still be my compass? Yeah. 'Cause you keep loving me the same. I don't know how, but you still stay with me, baby. Stay with me, baby. You keep loving me the same. Don't know how, but you still stay with me, baby. Stay with me, baby. Oh, stay with me. TV flashes down the hall, painting pictures on the wall.
And good morning. Welcome to JoCo Vibes here on this thankful Thursday. I'm Tiffany Carlen with Nona Ree. Good morning, Nona.
Good morning.
We've got some special guests in the house. We're going to have them introduce themselves here in just a moment. It is a beautiful day here in Johnson County, Texas. And I'm going to have these lovely ladies introduce themselves one by one. Tell everybody who you are, please.
My name is
Oh, her mic's not on. Hang on.
So sorry.
All right,
Okay,
you're ready.
now y'all are ready.
I'm Susan DeBrew with Unleashing the Kingdom and Kingdom Brewing Ministries, and I am very honored to be part of the group today.
I'm honored to have you. Thank you for saying yes.
Yes.
Not everybody says yes.
I'm Kim Kimball, and the founder of Hope Encounter Ministries of North Texas and the Hope Encounter Women's Conference.
Okay, so your ministry has been it's been around for how long?
Only about 4 years now.
You say only about 4 years, but 4 years in a time of a pandemic is a lot longer because
Yes.
you get to stretch out that time. You started something 4 years ago that was nearly, on the brink before a massive pandemic, and here you are 4 years later, and you're still surviving, and that's a big thing. So
it is.
congratulate
All
yourself.
glory to God.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so glad that you stuck with it and you continued to say yes to him and to keep this going. How did the ministry come about?
Well, it came about by my own personal experiences, obviously, with attending a huge women's conference in Georgetown every year that really motivated and encouraged and all of those things for my vision of hope. But I had some ladies that I knew, several in the community, that was struggling with discouragement and depression and, You know, some, a couple had even taken their own lives. And I just asked the Lord, I just cried out to him, what can I do? What can I do? You know, and we're so small, we're one person. And he showed me the way, and I just wanted to have a multi-denominational, community-wide women's conference where women could come together, all denominational walls, you know, taken down, and just concentrate on the one thing that we have in common, and that's the Lord Jesus Christ, which gives us hope. And, you know, once we know his love for us, then there's hope, you know, and no matter what the world, what we encounter in the world, we have to have hope, and we have that through him. So anyway, and I just, you know, I went to my pastor, I got his blessing, and we had the first one in 2019, the first Hope Conference.
And so each year you're in a different location, right?
Right. The Lord spoke to me that it was for my community. And so I took that as to be Johnson County. And we were in Joshua the first year, Cleburne. Well, our second year was actually canceled due to the pandemic. And then we had the next year in Cleburne last year. And then we're in Burleson this year. We're very excited to be in Burleson. We've gotten a lot of support no matter what city we're in from the ladies in this community. And at Pathway Church, Pathway has just been amazing and accommodating. I'm so excited to be at Pathway this year.
It's going to be a really good location, especially now since they got done with the new sanctuary. And I've been there for a different conference, and just the flow and the room that allows you to really, you know, space out, or if you want to break out and get into a private prayer group, you know, within the conference, you obviously have these wonderful speakers. One of them being this amazing lady next to me, Sue Drew
Susan DeBrew.
DeBrew.
It's
Okay.
spelled like DeBrew, like a strong morning
But
drink.
it's DeBrew, more like a French. I
Yes.
knew I was gonna. I was like, okay, she said it, and it was good, and I'm gonna say it right, and then I said it wrong anyway.
That's okay. Everybody does.
But you are one of the speakers at this event, and you're going to be speaking on Unleashing the Kingdom.
Yes.
So talk about that. First of all, it's the title of your book.
Yes. We have a series of books. They're called Unleashing the Kingdom. The subtitle is Taking Dominion Through the Unity of Men and Women. And the idea through the series is that the enemy just wants us to divide, right? He knows that our power comes from our unity, and he doesn't care what we divide over, whether it's race or
divide and
gender
conquer.
or social class or you name it. Yeah, exactly. Divide and conquer. He's had one tactic since the garden, and it hasn't changed. But sadly, often either culture or even the church has fallen prey to the enemy's schemes. And so there's nothing more detrimental than believing a lie and believe it's actually God's design. Like we actually believe it's God's design for women to be secondary. And the minute you relegate one class or gender, anything to a secondary position, by definition, we can't be equal. We can't be actually united. And so the series, it shares my story. It's been a 20-year journey, but of actually going through the scriptures and having the Lord show me where in history things started to shift, where we began to misinterpret things. What is God's heart truly for women? Why do you have verses like slaves be subject to your masters if we know that's not God's heart? And so he actually took me on a journey of understanding how he works in the world as it is, and that the kingdom is like leaven, and it's in there, and it's going to slowly change how we do things. And so one of the last bastions to go down is misogyny, especially misogyny in the church.
Okay, so this is so crazy because it takes me back to one thinking about, you know who I'm already thinking about. So we had this wonderful prophetess who sat at this table, and that was one of the things that she was talking about, that we have so many women stepping into leadership roles right now, at all levels, and we're not talking just politics, we're just talking leadership in general, and our voices are louder, and more women are stepping more into that role of speaking up. And that's not a negative thing. And she talked about how it's because men need a break, and they need a break from this feeling that they have to be in the leadership role and that they have to be doing all these things, where it's okay to say, I need a break, whether it's to regroup, reconnect with Christ, whatever it is. But it's not a bad thing that women are stepping into this, and it may only be for a moment in time that we are needed. And however long that moment is, we don't know.
And what if we're actually needed by design?
Yes.
What if it actually
Yes.
takes both men and women to reflect the image of God on the earth?
It does. I want to go back because you said something that stuck in my brain already when you said that division, it began in the garden
At the fall, not God's original
right,
design.
Right. But when the devil, attacked, his goal was to divide the man and the woman from being an equal partnership and to start creating blame.
Yes.
It's your fault for doing this. It's
Yes.
your fault. And I love that because it is a picture of every aspect of division.
And it starts at home. We learn division
Yes.
at home.
Totally agree. I'm just deep in. Okay, so you have 4 books in the series so far?
We have 3 books in this series, and then my pastor, Steve Pixler, who's also my ghostwriter. He's an amazing theologian, an amazing writer. He wrote what I call the Cliff Notes or the Unleashing the Kingdom for Dummies. And it's called Introduction to Unleashing the Kingdom. So if somebody didn't want to tackle 3 large books, not knowing if they would like the material, this gives you an overview of the whole thing, and it's just a little snippet, and I love it.
So you can start in. So you recommend starting into introduction, and then
book
diving
1.
in deeper if that's where you want to go.
Exactly. Book 1 is called The Woman's Place. It shares a lot about my story, how we got things wrong, why we got things wrong, and then it goes into 1 Corinthians 14, which is women are to keep silent in the church, but we missed the next verse that says, what? Did the word of God come from you only, or is it for you only? Paul's actually answering the Corinthian letter, which he states in chapter 7, verse 1, now about the things I wrote to you. But if you don't understand, he does that throughout the book of Corinthians. You just think Paul's being schizophrenic. You don't know he's actually coming against the Corinthians who want to silence the women. But look at what we've done. We thought it was Paul.
Pick and choose of. But don't you also think that that's I don't even want to say selective interpretation. I think it's been used selectively to take one verse and use it as a weapon against women or against African Americans or those that are enslaved, and how easy it's become that we've fallen prey to those single verses without looking at the whole chapter, the whole scripture, the whole book to put it all into context.
Because if we believe that that's God's mandate for women, then we should not be, well, actually we shouldn't, if this is a church atmosphere, we should just shut up right now. Like he says, it's disgraceful for women to utter sound in the assembly.
Right.
No singing in the choir, no giving announcements, no teaching women, no teaching children. Like we can't make it not say that. The question is, was that Paul's intent toward women, or was he actually coming against the contentious Corinthians, which when you actually look at the words themselves, oh yes, that's what he was doing. But we have to skip the next verse. And some translations, God love them, they don't do it intentionally with malice, right? They just have a filter already where they believe that Paul is limiting women. And once they believe that, then when the next verse says, like, nonsense, did the word of God come from you only, or is it from you only? King James begins that verse with, what? Did the word of God, right? So they picked up that disjunctive participle that's there. But other translations will take verses like in 1 Corinthians 11, like with the hair length and the covering and, all of that kind of stuff. Paul then answers them and he says, but we have no such practice, neither do the churches of God. He's telling them that's stupid, right? The preacher who freed us from the law isn't now giving us new laws. But many translations will change the verse to say we have no other practice. But in the Greek, it's toiotis and it's of this sort. We have no practice of this sort. Women don't need to cover their head. When they're praying or prophesying, they can have long hair if they want to. Guys can have long hair, short hair. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, women can cut their hair. Their glory comes from the Lord. It doesn't come from their hair.
Well, do you ever get this vision when you're talking about that and to think about, because I've thought about this, when God is looking down at earth, and although he's amongst us, but when you think of God the Father, being this bigger being, this larger being looking down, does he even see flesh?
He probably sees who he created us to
right?
be
You just,
himself.
I mean,
right?
to me, he just
Jesus
sees
in
this.
us.
He sees the soul,
Through Jesus.
and he sees the heart.
Mhm.
And so, does he even see those types of things? I mean, when Adam and Eve were born, he didn't born them covered in leaves like the pictures that we've seen growing up, in church, and putting our felt people up on the boards. I'm thinking back to Sunday school and vacation Bible school, but we had to cover, and that's not the way he created them.
So it's really interesting. A lot of our misunderstanding actually goes all the way back to the garden. So we know that God said, "Let us make mankind in our image and in our likeness." The word there, Adam, in Hebrew means mankind. Ish is male. Like this is just humankind, and so let us make mankind in our image and in our likeness. And so at this point, like, what does that look like? Well, the only thing we know about him so far is he's powerful, he's creative, and he's plural. Our likeness, right? Let them rule the earth. We are made plural in his image, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. There's a perichoretic union where that Greek word just means like a love dance between them, where you don't really know where one stops and one starts. They're so one, but they're distinct and individual. And that's what mankind was supposed to be. And that's why the only thing that was not good in the garden is because the female was still hidden on the inside and there was no fellowship. They weren't in union. In a love union like Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And so that's why the whole thing plays out the way it does. I could go on and preach a whole message on that. I won't take the time to do that because I really do want to promote the conference, because the whole idea of hope, right, and bold and courageous, if we don't know who we really are, we will hold back. We will veil our glory because we're not really sure that God's giving us permission to live from our heart. What brings us passion, what brings us life, and fully show up and be seen. Courageous, like if you guys know Brene Brown.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, girl. So like to be bold and courageous means we have to be willing to show up and tell our story from our whole heart and be vulnerable. Like to take a risk and say, I might be rejected for believing this. I might be rejected for, I can't sing, so this is obviously not me. But what if you were created to be a singer, to worship and to get out there and belt it, but everybody around you your whole life was telling you, be quiet, you're too loud, you're not, you're too much, you need to fit in with the culture, you need to fit in with society. And especially if you're a female Christian, it's like, and don't ever outshine your man. Like, don't ever outshine your leaders. You're always wondering like how you play this game of fitting in. And it's just not the right kingdom.
No. And I think if you're with a man who has an expectation of not being outshined, then you are not with the man that God has chosen you to be with. And I'm very fortunate to be with the man who doesn't care if I'm shining or if he's shining or who's shining. And
he's secure and healthy.
Yes, absolutely. And that's just number one. We were friends first. And that to me is the most powerful message that I try to pass on to people, is to be friends first with your future partner. And you'll know in that friendship if it's meant to be. We're going to totally squirrel off of that. We could go a million different ways. I can tell.
This is exciting.
So how did
I talk for a living, by the way.
I'm listening. I want to listen. I want to hear more. And I'm going to, we're looking at calendars to see if we're able to be there on the 10th and the 11th.
We would love to have you guys
come.
come.
The conference is Friday and Saturday, June 10th and 11th, 6:30 p.m. The doors open on Friday, right?
Yes, the doors open at 6.
At 6.
We
and then
start
it
at
starts
6:30. Yes.
Okay. And then on Saturday, doors open at 8:30 and it begins at 9 a.m. You don't have to come to both days.
No.
Right? I mean, you want to take the whole package if you can.
Of course, you don't have to come to both days. However, we didn't split the ticket cost that way. So it's one fee, which is $55. And we're on Eventbrite for that. Now, I do have today on JoCo Radio, if they go on Eventbrite to get their ticket, they can put in the code HOPE22, all capital letters, and they'll get a discount today.
And they can get to the Eventbrite through your website, hopeeventconference.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so go to hopeeventconference.com, click on ticket purchase, and then use Hope 2022.
No, just 22.
Hope 22 to get the discount.
Yes.
And then, did you want to give anything away today still?
Yes. I mean, we can, I had thought about
We talked about it, but I didn't know
I don't
what you
know.
decided.
Yeah, I don't know how you would do that. Do you like the eighth caller, or what do you do? We've got a ticket. If somebody would want to come, I really want them to use the ticket. But we do have a free ticket that a lot of people have sponsored and said, if you know someone that would love to come. So how would y'all go about that?
So here's what we'll do. We've got a ticket to give away. If you are watching on social media and you comment on the show, whether you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook, if you comment in the comments, it will show up. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to do hashtag Hope22 to let us know that you're interested in a ticket giveaway, and then we'll pick someone out next Thursday. We will pick a winner for that ticket. You
Sounds
can,
great.
if you're listening on air and you don't frequent social media, don't feel bad. You can actually message us at go to JoCoCommunityRadio.com and click the contact page and fill out the submission form and put hashtag Hope22 in there, and we will throw you into the bowl. We'll just put names in there and we'll pick the person live on air next Thursday. How's that sound?
Great. That sounds
That's
great.
an easy way to do it.
Yes.
And then you look like you got all excited about something. So if there's something that you would like to give away as well.
Sure. I'll be happy to give away one of these books.
One of these books.
How about
Okay.
the intro?
I think the intro is great. I
Okay,
think
we'll
this
do
is a
the
great thing.
introduction to
So
Unleashing the Kingdom by Steve Pixler.
we will pick two winners. One will get a ticket, and one will get the introduction book, which I'm excited about because this is. I love that. I love that you guys thought to do an introduction to
Actually,
pull the whole
Steve
series
thought that.
together.
He-
Brilliant man,
Brilliant
Steve.
man. And I tell you what's really kind of cool too is he came out of a tradition that he actually used to teach himself. He's been a pastor forever. He used to teach that women had to be secondary, that women had to be silent in the church, that women couldn't wear makeup, they couldn't wear pants, like the whole thing. And he's paid a high price to take the journey to the truth.
Wow.
To setting women free. Yeah.
We're gonna have to have the two of you on because I'd really love
Oh,
to hear
yeah.
his story,
Yeah.
how he broke free from those chains.
And if anyone is interested, they could look up our podcast, which is Unleashing the Kingdom with Susan DeBrew.
Okay, I have to type all that in here because I'm going to go pull up your podcast too.
Yes. Right.
So back to the conference really quick. Bold, Courageous Women's Conference. Susan DeBrew is one of the speakers. Sarah Connor, Word of Truth Family Church, is also a speaker. Danae Sanji with 88.3 The Journey. We love you, Danae. Amanda Crabb with Restoring Hope Church is also a speaker. It's a 2-day event, $55. And I say that if you can only make one, everything happens for a reason. So you're always right where you're supposed to be. So
Right.
if you can only make it Friday, or if you can only make it Saturday, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. I also want to say that if you don't need a free ticket, but you know someone who does, also put the hashtag Hope22 in there. Put your name in there so that you can bless somebody else with that ticket.
Right.
So don't feel like you have to get a free ticket just to get a free ticket. Think about somebody who could use that free ticket.
Right.
We want to give a free ticket away. So someone out there needs to hear these messages on June 10th and 11th, and we want to be able to bless them. And then, of course, we want to be able to bless them with Unleashing the Kingdom, the introduction to that. So I think I'm gonna dive into this tonight. So
You're welcome. I'll leave you an extra copy.
All right, awesome, awesome. What's the final message? What do you want women to walk away from when this conference is over? What do you want the overall feel to be, Kim?
Well, I want them to feel like they're not alone, that there's other women in the community, not necessarily that sits beside them at church or at work or whatever, but there's other people in the community, other women that go through the same things they go through every day. And I always make a joke that when I leave one of these conferences, I feel like I can take on hell with a water pistol, And, but I have a new one now. It's like, I want the confidence of a 4-year-old in a Batman shirt.
Oh, love it.
Yes. So it's just, it just gives you that lift and, that hope that you need to just face tomorrow. And hopefully they're using that word. Hopefully they take it with them for a longer period of time and they make relationships that are lasting and build community. And that's the spirit of God. is the spirit of community.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we're wanting to do.
And we can come back together, everyone. We can come back together if you can be pulled apart, you can be put back together.
I believe
That's
it.
exactly right.
Yeah.
So and I love that.
And I love how you just said about the 4-year-old in the Superman shirt. I
Mhm.
had no idea that was part of your vision. I believe that the title of my message for the night is finding your superpower.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Goosebumps.
love
Yeah.
it.
Well,
That's
thank you,
awesome.
ladies, for joining us. We're going to share more information about this every single day on JoCo Community Radio's social media pages. So stay tuned for more information on that. And we'll be back after the break. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
It was
you.
our
We're so
honor.
excited for you.
Thank you for having us.
Abnormal realities.
I love my mom.
Yep. She sent me a message.
My mom did?
Yeah, Wednesday night. And she invited me over tomorrow night to watch Titanic and share a bowl of popcorn. And I accepted.
You did?
Yep.
That'd be fun.
And she calls it Chaps Only Night every Saturday night.
Look,
Miss Dixie,
Look,
how you doing? He said, it's my mom, bro. All right, it's my mom.
I want to hear the answer to the Titanic and popcorn. Go ahead, Mom. What's up?
Oh!
Hi, boys.
Hi,
I
Mom.
just wanted to ask Rocky if he wanted butter on that popcorn or not.
Oh,
I
my
would
God.
rather have the butter somewhere else, but if popcorn's the only place I can have it, I'll take it.
Jeez,
Hey,
dude.
nobody says I can't roll around in it for a little bit more.
All right, Mom.
That is my
Love
girl.
you.
I love you,
Mom.
Dixie.
Abnormal realities
My mom. Love you.
Dixie.
Bye. I love you too.
with Ron and Rocky. Weekdays, 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. on JoCo Community Radio.
Holy crap.
Out of that carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered. When you're hungry for tender brisket or some delicious homemade cobbler, then look no further than Leach Brothers Barbecue, located at 1106 East Henderson, Cleveland, Texas. Leach Brothers has been family owned and operated since 1950. Take it from me, Taco Joe Orwinski. Todd and his family have been filling my belly breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a long time. Heck, I even have my own booth, open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come see them for dine-in, carry-out, and all your catering needs.
And welcome back to the second half of JoCo Community Radio. We are proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and we are live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen and watch, simply go to the tuneinjoco.com to choose where and how. The JoCo Community Radio app, I don't know why I'm going rodeo, radio app, is now available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Man, I seem tongue-tied, I guess, just listening to those wonderful ladies and just absorbing. And now that I'm talking, it's like I can't even get anything out of my mouth. Check out our lineup and more on JoCoCommunityRadio.com. This episode and more is brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep, Nona Reed, at 844-TEX-HAIL. That's 844-839-4245. And we were talking about the Bold and Courageous Women's Conference. That's going to be June 10th and 11th at Pathway Church. The doors open at 6 on Friday, and at 6:30 is the first conference. If you are interested in any a free ticket or the book, you're going to do hashtag Hope22. I thought she said all caps. Did she not? Oh, sorry.
You're
Sorry,
silencing me.
I did. I silenced you. It's my turn.
I think when you get into the Eventbrite and you go to put that in there, that I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
it'll
Do I need
matter.
to go get the door?
No, they're in.
Oh, okay.
I was just checking. Murphy Jones is back in town, and he was going to join us this morning. I don't know what happened to him. Yeah. So
He decided he was going to sleep in a little.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to check with him here, though. But okay, we're kind of on fire right now over Hope Encounter Women's Conference.
Yes.
I'm super, super excited. Susan DeBrew, and if you don't know that name yet, you need to, because her books are,
Oh my gosh,
they're
yeah.
amazing.
I know. It was like, I was having trouble reading the commercial, and I was like, maybe because I was quiet the first half and I was just in awe listening to her. And so then when I started talking, it was like,
how's that go? That's really good. You're speaking in tongues. You didn't even know it. You didn't even know you could do it. So again, go to hopeeventconference.com, click on ticket purchase, put in Hope 22 for a discount. And again, I say this because if you can't make both days, it's okay.
Right.
I mean, to me, I think it's
you're going to get a message no matter what.
Right. Or maybe somebody can only go Friday and you can only go Saturday. Split the ticket cost. Get whatever you can take away, because you're always right where you're supposed to be.
Right.
So I'm super excited. I'm hoping that it works out into our calendars. I think it does.
When I looked,
I think it does. And then of course need to check out Susan DeBrew's podcast, which we're going to share the information on that as well.
Yes.
So super excited. It's Thursday.
And that was just one of the speakers.
Yeah, that's one. That's just one. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm just saying that was just one. And look how inspirational that already was.
Right.
Just listening to her for, 15 minutes.
Sarah Connor, Word of Truth Family Church. Danae Sanji with 88.3 The Journey right here in Johnson County. Amanda Crabb, Restoring Hope Church, and she's out of Nashville. Absolutely amazing family. If you don't know Amanda Crabb, go search her up and go check her out. So it's Thursday, which is like our Friday here at the station.
Thankful Thursday.
I woke up this morning thinking it was Friday. And I was like, it's
I'm
okay.
glad you remembered.
I was feeling kind of zombie-ish. And and so I'm like, okay, I'll make his sandwich. I'll get Maximus sandwich made and get his lunch on me, because they're in their last day of testing today, start testing. And here it comes. And so I made him lunch, and I was like, I'm just gonna make lunch, and then I can go lay back down and finish sleeping off the Benadryl I took last night. So, which I've been having to take every night because I've been breaking out in some sort of weird hives, and still kind of narrowing down, what medication it is or what it is that's causing it. So good morning.
Good morning.
Murphy Brown's here.
Murphy Brown. I know. I heard y'all
It's got
say
a new name.
Murphy
Jones.
I heard y'all were talking about me this morning, saying Murphy, he might have slept in. No, I was just running a little late.
He's never running late.
I was like a tad bit late.
He's
And
still
look how
on
handsome you are.
He's still on Washington time.
Okay. Still trying to get over it.
It's early, but it's earlier there.
Yeah,
so
I know.
really,
An hour early.
Yeah,
It
just happens.
It was funny. I was actually up at like 6 o'clock.
I was about to say, I bet he was doing something, and he was
Can't close
up
the
and ready.
tablet. Life happens. I get it. It's every morning for me. Hey, Christina Jones says hi to you.
Hi, Christina.
And she's already back and with Rejeweled, and she's already back in
that one's
Arizona.
mom.
Oh no, it's your
That
mom.
one's
I'm
mom.
sorry. I'm thinking of
Christina Sharp. I know she went.
Sharer.
Yeah,
I know she's
she
already
went
back.
to Arizona. Our
Look who's
regional
on.
girl.
Look who's on my brain. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mother Christina.
Well, both Christinas are very faithful listeners.
Yes, they are.
So,
So, good morning. So glad you can make it. All right, so you're back for the summer
Woohoo. With his water.
and
With the gallon, okay.
All right, so we got to talk to you briefly yesterday when you stopped in. And for those of you who don't know Mr. Murphy Jones worked here at the radio station. He was my left arm, smiling, fun face, kept us moving and grooving.
be.
and you were also the campaign manager for City Councilwoman Tamara Payne.
Yes.
For those that don't know that.
Oh my gosh, I know that was what
And
my
you
first
worked
ever
it.
opportunity. That was a great time.
Yeah.
What a time that was. Because I did that and then I was working here and then going to school. After I did all of that, I was like, I can do anything. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, but keep going, because when you talk about going to school, you weren't just going to school. Plus, you were on
NHS vice president, senior council vice president. It was senior year.
You had a radio show.
I had a radio show.
You were starting a diversity community.
I was doing that. It was that was it. Senior year was a lot. It was a lot happening.
So, but freshman year of college hasn't exactly slowed you down, though.
Oh, I think it's gotten faster, honestly.
Right. So update everybody on what you've been doing, what all you accomplished in your first year of college, and remind everybody where you were going.
So, for everyone who's listening, I go to Howard University.
His dream school.
My dream school, which is a historically Black college and university located in
You're
Washington,
Black?
D.C. I know, right? That's what I told myself too. But it is an HBCU located in Washington, D.C. And our rankings just came out. We are the number 2 ranked HBCU in the nation, right behind, I believe it's Spelman. So we are number 2 ranked. But yeah, freshman year of college, what all did I do? So I successfully, I managed a total of 3 campaigns this election season for our student government. So I managed a couple of College of Arts and Sciences, which is our independent school campaigns. And then I also managed some freshman council campaigns. And then I also consulted on a couple of Senate campaigns as well. So I did a total of that. I also this year was a part of a program called Howard University Alternative Spring Break, which I have to show you the pictures from. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was that was
Yeah.
a great time where
Where did you guys end up staying?
We stayed in a hotel.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, so we stayed in a hotel. And it was it was absolutely a great time. It was the amount of work that we did. People cried, I cried. Like it was just a really great time. But Howard University Alternative Spring Break is basically this community service trip where college students, instead of going on typical spring break trips, they instead go and serve in various communities across the United States. And so this year I had the opportunity to serve as a site coordinator for Charleston and Columbia, South Carolina. So that in and being of itself was its own roller coaster. So much work went into that, but it was so rewarding in the end. I also got to be on the news in Washington, D.C. On behalf of Howard University Alternative Spring Break, in which I got to meet Nick Cannon. And then actually was able to,
I was gonna say, where did that go?
Yeah.
Tell me. I already know, so I'm just excited for you.
Well, that actually ended up leading to me going to New York. So I had taken kind of like a day trip to New York where I actually was able to go onto his show and to kind of be able to hang out with him and stuff like that. And so that was great. That was its own great independent opportunity, and I absolutely adored it. And then on campus, I was able to serve as our freshman council chief of staff, where I managed a staff of about 10 to 15 people, ensuring that just the whole executive board stayed in line, as well as our staff members did. And then from there, I also was successfully able to join my organization I'm in now, the Men of George Washington Carver Incorporated. I gained 13 new brothers, and I also am now having the privilege and the opportunity to serve in my newest role as Mr. College of Arts and Sciences at Howard University, which I'm sure I just means I just serve on our royal court. So I get one of the people that gets to smile and wave, as well as
Which
be
you're
able to,
already good at.
yeah,
Smiling and waving.
and then just serve as another ambassador to Howard University. So it's been a time. It's been a year.
Okay, I do want to say this. Even though Howard has been your dream school, you almost did not. You were afraid you weren't going to get in, and you were
Absolutely.
afraid of a lot of things. But you overcome. You started a different path,
Yeah.
and then you said nope.
It was.
That's. I think that's great for people to hear, because
Mhm.
you had this dream. but then you thought, I don't know if it's really going to be able to come true. Da, da, da. And you started down a different path.
And
then
yeah, I mean, that was the thing is I tell people that my like when we, even when we went to a lot of our high schools that we were visiting in South Carolina, that was one of the things that I constantly shared with them was that, and I share that with like people when I give tours and stuff like
a
that.
lot of people do not, they let their fears stop them.
Yeah, and that was about to be me. Yeah, and I could just think of how different my life would be if I wasn't in DC at Howard.
I think you'd be miserable somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think you would. I mean, we knew this was your dream school, and you had already started putting effort into another school that was here.
Yeah.
And, I think with everybody's encouragement and you finally saying to yourself, I'm never gonna know if I don't try.
And that was
look at what's
and
happened.
look at what happened. Yeah.
It's we were so excited for you.
And so that's the biggest thing. That's what I really tried to learn from that. Is that's
Mhm.
really how I tried to govern my life now. Is that
Mhm.
like it just is what it is. What's for me will be for me, and what's not will not be.
That's right.
And that's just really how I just say it. I mean, at the end of the day,
I'm gonna
it happened. It happens.
Still that motto too.
I love that. Say it again.
What it was for me will be for me, and what is not will not be.
Right.
So
Uh-huh.
that's really just how I try to
Yeah.
live my life now.
That's a great staple
Uh-huh.
message for yourself every single day
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
to live by. I mean, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Exactly. And if it's not, then I think that there was some bigger purpose for which it wasn't. And
There's definitely a lesson to walk away from
yeah,
this
and that's
learning.
my thing
Yes.
is that there's and some people sometimes don't understand this, is that there are lessons to learn in failure.
Yes.
And that failure is a part of success, because you don't succeed if you don't fail. And so like a lot of times people will ask me, they're like, Murphy, like as a freshman, a lot of times people like to say, Murphy, you're in the Howard Illuminati, because like nothing at Howard practically goes past me without me knowing it. And they're like, Murphy, you're like in the Howard Illuminati, like that, and they're like, a lot of times they don't understand that it's like, well, for one, right, like I failed a lot of things, right? That first campaign that I ran for my freshman council, they lost, right? They didn't get to win. And I mean, there was a couple of different things going against that, but it was because of like a lot of the hard work and a lot of the merit that the other campaigns saw, that they were like Murphy, we didn't bring you on as our chief of staff for the winning council. So it's like little things like that where it's like, okay, there's lessons to be learned in failure, but it's also like, you also have to understand that for you to be able to succeed, you need to be able to fail too. So.
You have to fail forward.
Yeah, don't fall back. Fall forward.
You fail forward. And every successful business person out there, and I'm talking Elon Musk will talk, talks about it. I'm just using him as an example, but there's a lot of big successful business people out there. And when I say big, I'm talking that they're out there, they're out in the public, and you hear them speaking. And if you're not hearing them speak, you should be looking them up on LinkedIn or elsewhere, finding their podcasts if they have one, which a lot do. But they will tell you their first small businesses that they started, they failed. Yeah, it's not abnormal. You shouldn't be afraid of that, nor should you be ashamed of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's the right time for a business
Absolutely.
or a journey. And if you're a faithful person, God does stop you and says, hey,
halt.
Hey, it's okay that the door is closed right now. Just keep praying to me from the hallway.
Right.
And I just saw that on a post somewhere just the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great for that. But it's really
liked it. So
I love it.
Keep praying from the hallway.
Keep praying from the hallway.
I feel like I think I shared it to my Facebook page. I can't
I
remember.
missed it then.
I don't know if I shared it. I can't remember. I can't remember yesterday. But truthfully, that's so much better than, where one door closes, another will open, or, the windows open or something like that. But I actually think that this is the best one I've ever heard. You're out in the hallway and it's okay. Choose another door.
Yeah.
You just may need to go down another hallway for whatever purpose, but no, the timing needs to be right.
Yeah.
And, even for me, I've kind of put one of my businesses on hold. I put another invention on hold because things kind of came crashing down 2 years ago when my email and then Facebook were hacked, and it took all those pages away from me.
Yeah.
And so I kind of been sitting back and going, okay, well, maybe there's a reason for it too. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, I've started to really think about that. Okay,
Yeah.
and maybe I'm supposed to be in the hallway with these things right now. And then
Mhm.
Todd and I actually started talking about the invention last night again, because I don't know, we saw a commercial for something
Well,
else.
I remember when we were at the spring show, something with the situation. You're like, I got to get back to inventing that.
Yes, yes.
Finishing that up.
It's there. I mean, I have the prototype. I just haven't,
Yeah.
finished it.
She
but
showed
it's
it to me
time.
a long time ago. I remember.
It's time. And so, sometimes it's even that voice whether it's coming from, one of the most supportive people in your circle, this being my husband. And so when my husband speaks up to an invention that I have, sometimes he'll look at me like I'm crazy, but when he brings up, he goes, it's just like that, and I don't want to talk about what it is right now.
Absolutely no, yeah.
He goes, well, but it's time, you got to get it done. And so that empowers me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he believes in me, and he
Mhm.
believes in the product. And so give those words to other people.
Absolutely.
You know,
Surround
give those
yourself
words.
around positive people.
All
That's
right.
what I had to learn.
So fast forward towards I don't want to say the end of your school year, but talk about the stage performance that you showed us yesterday on your phone.
As I kind of said, so I'm now currently, as of commencement ceremony, I am now currently the current 2022-2023 Mr. College of Arts and Sciences for Howard University. So for us to be considered Misters and Misses, which have always been crucial to HBCUs, we go through pageants basically. So there are kind of three phases. There is your pageant, your voting, and your interview. So your pageant is like, I guess, any other pageant. It is consisting of, you have a kind of a opening number with a dance, and it kind of has a theme. So our theme was Family Matters, and I was Steve Urkel. And after the opening number, you do your introduction, where you introduce yourself, you introduce some things about you, and then you introduce your platform. And then from there, you introduce what your platform actually is. So you go a little bit more deeper into that platform, the things you want to do, what you want to accomplish. You have your talent. And then lastly, you do your bio walk, where basically they are reading off your bio, and the things that you've accomplished and been able to accomplish. And then lastly, you have to answer a question. The Q&A is what kills people. It almost killed me, but
Do you remember what your question was?
Oh my gosh, no. It was
It was like at the minute. And I know you probably just went.
Yeah, it was just, I was just like, okay, I'm just trying to say what I think I need to say, and then just cut it off. Because you don't want to say too much, and then you also don't want to say too little. And so I literally after my pageant, it was just a whirlwind. And then from there, you do your voting, where the students have to vote you in. And then lastly, you have to do an interview. So you do an interview with the Mr. and Miss Howard. And so that is kind of a little bit about my pageant. Where I am.
All right, what was your talent?
Oh, my talent, I did poetry.
Okay.
So I read a poem that I had written for a really long time. So
I'm so proud of you.
yeah, it was a great time. I never did it. It was actually a really big confidence booster. Because I'm so used to being the director behind, even like when I had to take like a lot of my pictures and stuff like that, for my Instagram and like for my platform and stuff like that. It was like me having to be in front of the camera. Like it was me having to be taking the pictures. Like it was me having to pose, having to do all that stuff. And I was just like, I don't do this. Like I tell people how to pose. Like I tell the camera when to take the shot. Like I do not stand in front of the camera. Like this is not, I don't do this. And so it was very much like, it was different, but I think it was a good, like, especially like coming out of my comfort zone, only because it became to a point where it was like, okay, like I'm used to having people look at me and like having eyes on me, but it was just in a different light now, where it's like now people are looking at you in this respected role versus this role.
What do you think you're going to be able to take away from going from being behind the scenes, being the director, being the one that is in the supportive directive role, to being in the spotlight? Are you going to be able to will you take away from there and go, okay, now I know how it feels to be here, and be able to apply some things to the next person that you're directing or supporting?
Yeah, I think I think that's one of the good things is I've learned, especially as I've watched other people who are in said roles that I want to be in, and stuff like that, is that a lot of those people, they could be Mr. Coas, Mr. Howard, SGA president, really whatever, right? It's more along the lines of not even necessarily if you want to do that. It's more along the lines of what you're geared to do. And there are some people who are better geared towards handling those things, like handling the people, handling the daily operations, making sure things are getting done on a timely manner, working those, like a lot of those backroom kind of things. And then there are some people who are better at doing a little bit more of the smiling, the waving, the being in the people's eye, and stuff like that. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, was because I really wanted to see, what do I think I want to do? Because right now I kind of have like a tendency of what I want to do, but it's really just a question of, okay, do you really want to do that? Have you really experienced what it's going to be like to do this? So I'm going to see after this year, being on the Royal Court, and everything along those lines. We finished our training and our boot camp before we left Howard. So that was a great time. So it's a lot of protocols and whatnot we have to follow, being on the Royal Court. So, but it's super fun. I wouldn't trade the experience for the world so far. It's been super great. And I'm just excited to see where next year will take me, I guess.
What are you looking forward to most being home this summer? Do you have like certain places that you want to go eat?
I will say this, Whataburger, you taking away the chicken bites was not cool. Okay.
What?
Right before they took away the chicken bites. Y'all didn't know that?
No.
Oh my gosh, this is so awkward.
But I've been doing well to not drive through any fast food drive-thrus.
Yeah,
so.
Whataburger took away the chicken bites. They only have chicken
Wow.
strips.
Very interesting.
Crazy.
Controversy. We'll have
Controversy.
to call Whataburger. Let's get Whataburger on the line and find out what's going on. And so
Betty can debate him.
for real.
That's right.
I know you're going to be a face here because we're already talking about that. So we'll see you on the regular. What's in the plan for sophomore year? Do you stay in the dorms?
Yes, I'll stay in the dorms again. Thank the Lord. Because DC rent is expensive. But I will probably stay in the dorms again. Really, my reign as Mr. Coas, doing a lot of the events and programming and whatnot. I actually have to do a summer recruitment. So I probably will be in one of the school districts, a couple of the school districts actually, doing some summer recruitment and stuff like that, talking about HBCUs and HBCU royalty, and stuff like that. So I'll be there with that. And then I will probably also, before the summer ends, will try to do some type of like community service initiative as well before I leave. So that's really it. And then in sophomore year, mostly my reign. And I guess just seeing what opportunities present themselves as they come.
I was about to say all the new adventures.
The new adventures and as they come.
You're gonna get out to the farmers markets this weekend?
I'm gonna try to. I was gonna try and plan to stop by there. Because every single time I go there, I always end up spending money.
But you could get some good fresh food.
I know, that's the good part though. So I'm probably gonna try and stop by there. Because I've actually started cooking a little bit more. So
Good. All right.
You
So
and Haley both.
so that is happening this weekend. We have the Burleson Farmers Market tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Today's not Friday. Today's Thursday. Today is Thursday.
Today
Saturday
is
you have
Thursday.
the Burleson Farmers Market, as well as the Cleburne Farmers Market is also this weekend. Opens at 9 a.m. and it's at 141 South Ridgeway Drive. Hit one farmers market, head over to the other farmers market, because clearly they're not going to have the same vendors there on the same day. And
Right.
so pick up what you can. Before we go, did you know there's an article from the Cleburne Times Review from August 28th, 1936. And here's what it stated. This is August 28th, 1936. There are over 3,700 farms in Johnson County with a value of almost $15 million on the land and buildings. While this county is not a leader in any particular farm item, it is probably more diversified than any county in the section. That's pretty cool for 1936 Johnson
Right.
County.
Right.
Be thankful today. It's Thankful Thursday. Be thankful every day. Have an amazing day. Be kind. God bless.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio. At Romeo